Hey everybody, welcome to Invarion's RapidPlan video tutorial. Today we're going to cover features in version 3 of RapidPlan. Specifically, we're going to talk about the road tool and how to work with the road tool. Some of the things we'll be doing today is we'll be laying out a road. We'll be dropping down control points, removing them, and then we'll also be going into the properties and changing some of the specifics with the road that we do lay out. So why don't we go ahead and get started. So we can find our road tools under, of course, the tool palette. So if we hover over our road tools, you see there's a lot more selection under here. I mean, we've got our turn lanes, our arc lanes, our roundabouts, and our road tool. Today we're really just going to specifically talk about the road tool because I want to show you how to change the properties in 3 different ways. One using the properties palette, the second using the quick editing properties box, and the third is using your mouse to click on a particular part of that road and then changing that specific property for that. So why don't we go ahead and get started. So the way that you start a road in RapidPlan is, again, go to your road tool. You notice that RapidPlan has turned into, or at least the cursor has turned into a pen, which really means it's starting to get ready to draw. To initiate this, you just do a left click. That puts a control point down. Now if I do another left click here, I can do one of two things. I can do a turn in my road, or I can end it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do another left click and then a right click to let RapidPlan know I'm done drawing. But if you notice, it went ahead and left the pen there because I'm still telling it I'm ready to draw maybe another section of a road, etc. So to end that again, just do another right click and that will end it. Now let's select this, and you can see my control points. So if I were to take a control point, I can kind of move it, do a little curve in my road just like that. If I needed to add a control point in, I would just do a right click. And then I would go insert control point, and then you can do a little bit of a curve in a road just like that. Okay, so while we have these control points up here, I want to show you how to change the geometry on a road to sort of either straighten the lines out or turn it back to curves, etc. So you're going to find this under the properties. You can also access it under the quick editing box as well, toolbox as well. So let's lock that into place. So watch this. If I go over to where it says geometry, you can see it right here, and I change it. So I'm going to change it from spline, which it's set in here, and it's also its default. I'm going to change it to a line. You can see it goes ahead and changes that to a line, so I could actually take my control points and move them around and sort of line things up just like that. So you've got complete control over that. You can move it around anywhere that you want in your roadway. You can always switch it back as well. So if you go back to your geometry and change it back to spline, you can see it's got that more of a curve in there. I do want to show you how to remove control points. So we've talked about how to add them in there. Let's go ahead and hover over one until your mouse cursor becomes a black plus sign. Do a right click and click remove. Let's do the same thing for this other one right here. Right click and remove. So you notice that in my positioning box, you can see it's a little bit angled. If I go ahead and grab that end control point, I can straighten it up just like that. Okay, so I've got my road selected. Let's jump back into the properties here real quick. Let's pin this guy back into place, and let's walk through some of the things we can do here. This top section up here, I mean, this is basically how to sort of sort and go through the different categories a lot easier. So sort by category, sort by alphabet, don't sort at all, or you can actually do a search. And for example, search for lanes, and it'll only pull up the lane section for you, so it's a little easier to see. Well, some of the things you can do in here for your roads, as an example, you can use auto merges on, which means when you lay a road over each other, it merges together versus looking like it's a separate piece. You can change the color. We've already gone over the geometry. The other thing that you can do under here is you can change your lane. So there's this up and down arrows. You can use those. So I'm going to make it a 4 lane. If you wanted, you could just type it in there as well. You get your lane width that you can change. But right below that is your markers. So for example, if I wanted to change a marker style or marker color, I would go to this editing icon on the right hand side, click on that, and you can see I can change my width. I can also change the color. So I'm going to choose from my color palette white, and then I'm also going to choose the style and change that to a double. So you can change that down the middle right there. Now if I needed to do anything to my edges, my shoulders, you can see it's marked off by left or right. We have these little neat toggle switches here. So whatever is toggled to the right is on. Whatever is toggled to the left is off, of course. So you can see I've turned them on. And then you've got individual settings that you can do for it. For example, for your edges, You can change the edge color, you can change the edge width, etc. So you have all these same features under here. Let's go a little bit further down. You can also have control over your distance markers, show it or turn it off. So if you do turn this on again or turn it on, you can see that you can see your distance markers that show up on your road. You can adjust your spacings, offsets, etc. The next section at the very bottom right here is whether or not you want all this information or this road information to show up on your legend or your manifest, and that would be just turning it on from false to true. So I'm just going to go ahead and take away these distance marker markings, and I'm going to collapse our palette. Our next one is our editing or quick editing box, and that this requires a double click. So what it does is it provides everything condensed for you here on the left hand side, same, almost the same settings. These will drop open and you can make your changes from here. And any changes that you do make, you kind of get a preview of it as I go through here and toggle these on your right hand corner. And then once you've got what you want set, you're going to go ahead and hit save, and that saves it for you. The third way to change things quickly on your lanes and your road is by using a right click. So wherever I point to and I do a right click, so if I select, I'm sorry, with a left click and then a right click, I can go down to where it says edit, and then whatever I chose, and it tells me right lane, 4 lanes, I can adjust it because that's the 4th lane. If I were going to change something on my shoulder, I would select that and then come down to the bottom. Let's choose that again. Come down to the bottom here, and then I would change my edges, my shoulders, my sidewalks. I have full control over all of that. And if I do a drop down menu, you can see I can do the width and the color as well. I hope this video tutorial was helpful. Please take the time to watch some of our other video tutorials. Thank you very much.